excited for tonight's team call. Brittany, how long have you been a coach, Brittany?
I think like 17 months.
Awesome. So she's closing in on 2 years. But what I've been so impressed about with Brittany is that she really shows up and she's really just kind of a natural leader. And I know if I, like, from like a non-coach, like Facebook stalker perspective, I would absolutely just fall in love with her. And want to be a part of whatever she's doing. So I know that what she's going to share with you tonight is going to be so valuable. And I'm just excited to hear from her. She, a lot of the same team as her. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm excited for her to jump in and share things. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say about her is we talk about like going to events a lot and like showing up to opportunities like that to meet corporate and stuff. And she's had quite a few opportunities living in Southeast Idaho to do that. And I was impressed because she takes advantage of those opportunities and she makes it happen. She was able to meet with corporate one-on-one. She's able to participate in our Super Saturday events, host a Super Saturday event. She really just goes outside of her comfort zone and does things that makes her look like a leader, and she is. So I'm excited for you. So anyway, there you go, Brittany. Turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. No, I just am going to talk just for a minute while I print out that Word document that I was going to just read off of here. But yes, so I've been coaching for coming up on 2 years, and hold on. And this is really not how I planned this night to go. I'll tell you that much. But I guess I'll just my story for real quick for those who don't know. I had seen Ashley Watts is my coach, and I had seen her post on her wall about a workout program, and she talked about a sale, and I'm always about a good sale. And so I followed up with her and asked her about it, and she told me the price, and I was one of those people that was like, that's too expensive. So thanks, but no thanks. And then I kept following her, and oh, awesome. My paper jammed. This is how we're going to wing it. But so I kept following her, and she had posted about a coaching opportunity webinar. And at that time I was looking for something to do at home. And so I asked her for the link, and I listened to that call that night. And anyway, so that night I signed up with her basically. And then I just started coaching from there. And I was one that just kind of went with it. And basically it was something that I knew I wanted to do because I enjoyed fitness, and I knew that I could be successful at potentially because I enjoyed working out, and I felt like it was something that everybody could benefit from with health and fitness and taking care of their bodies. And so I did try other things, but let's just say I considered other things, but never really pursued anything because, again, I was nervous about the selling aspect and talking to people. And so I just didn't know if I was going to be able to be successful with other things. But this one, it totally felt like it felt right. So today I'm going to share with you my thoughts and stuff on success. And so when you think of success, I'm actually going to take answers here. So get ready to unmute. And there's no right or wrong answer, which is the great thing. But tell me when you think of success, what does it look like to you? Just unmute and say.
Overcoming fears.
Happiness.
Good.
On a beach, not at work. Happy.
That's why I was trying
My best body.
They can't hear me.
Perfect. Someone's unmuted.
Being financially stable.
Any others? So initially I would think, before, personal development and all that, I would think success meant you have it all. You've got the money, you've got the nice house, the nice car, and just going through personal development and coaching really has changed me as a person, which is awesome. And so going through personal development has helped me understand that success is different for everybody. And there's not what maybe one person thinks is a successful person. Someone else might look at that person and not think that. But some of you said happiness. And that is truly what it comes down to, is if you're happy, then you're successful with what you're doing with your life. And so, all right, let's get this PowerPoint up here to share with you. Today, I just want to talk about success from your point of view and how you view it. Okay, now can you see my PowerPoint and my desktop? Love you. Okay, what can you guys see? Help me.
Your PowerPoint?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did share it the right way. Okay, so success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And we know we've heard of failure in coaching. And so I like this quote because you're still enthusiastic about what you're doing, even though you're failing. And of course, we want to fail forward. I'm just going to mute everyone here real quick. Sorry. Okay. And here are some quotes that I pulled up for success as well. It's hard to fail, but it is worse to never have tried to succeed. A man is a success if he gets up in the morning and gets to bed at night, and in between he does what he wants to do. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value. And failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. So again, it goes back to failure, because just think, I remember hearing, if you are not failing, then you're not succeeding, or you don't have high enough goals, I guess you could say, for yourself. So maybe you've seen this image about what success looks like. And so people think that maybe you look at other coaches or top coaches and you think that they just had a straight shot to the top, when in reality, it's like a jumbled mess, or there's a lot of failure happening, maybe some backward movement and then forward movement. But it's what do you call it? Increasing, but it's a gradual increase up to success, and it doesn't always look pretty. So this goes back to putting on your blinders and just worrying about your journey in coaching, but knowing that you can't look at someone else, and first of all, you can't compare yourself to them because they're at a different part in their life, in their business or whatever. But everyone has this opportunity to fail and try and learn. And as long as you're gradually moving upward, there's where success happens. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 6 main things that you can apply to help you find success. So the first one is forget about what other people may think. Okay, so when you're posting, let's talk about posting specifically here. That first picture, I was a little cheeky, we call it. And so some of you might have those pictures that you're just hesitant to put up. Maybe you're embarrassed about your weight, or you just don't like how you look. I know that 17, 18 months ago, I wouldn't have posted that picture ever. And I've just kind of gotten past the point of caring we'll just say mostly what other people think. Yes, I'm still a human and I still worry sometimes what people think, but for the most part, I've gotten over that enough that I can post these pictures that I wouldn't normally feel comfortable posting. But again, it's like the transformation that they can see there's a change, just physically with me and the way I'm taking care of myself and how it can change someone physically. If you know me and my personality, I like Breezy said, going to live events and participating. And so this is one that I participated in and got dressed up for. And so when you're posting, share your personality basically, and don't try to copy what other people are doing in their pictures necessarily, but even in their words, but just be you. And last week on the call, Mindy said, make sure that you are finding your voice with your posts, and it also comes out in your pictures as well. So again, be real. One of the things that I struggle with posting is the reality show of my motherhood. And this was one day, this third picture, that I really was stressed out. There's a lot of noise going on, and I just wanted to share that I was like, I needed a timeout basically. And so little by little, I'm sharing more about parenting and how it's really hard for me. And I love it, but I still struggle sometimes. And so just being real with your life, your real life outside of coaching, whatever you want to call it, is putting, like, for me, that's vulnerable for me, because some people I know might look at me and say, oh, you're such a great mother. And they tell me that. And I have to take that as a compliment and run with it, even though I feel like sometimes I'm failing as a mother. So for me to put that out there on social media is something that I need to make sure that I don't worry what other people are thinking if I'm failing as a parent or as a mother. And then transformations. Those are sometimes hard to put out. And here you see, I didn't do the tank top or the sports bra. I probably could if I had another baby and just being in coaching, but regardless, the transformation, sometimes that's hard initially to put out there, those first pictures, but it's, again, I recommend that as well. Okay, next one, make a plan. So to have success, you have to know what you're doing. I know there was a question put out in the tribe today or recently, yesterday, today, about planning out a posting schedule. And I think that's a great idea. There are resources out there. If you didn't see the post, check that one out. But resources for posting. So if you plan out your week, the idea of what you want to post, so you're not just scrambling last minute, it's lunchtime and you only have one post out and you want to get something up there to be consistent. Instead of just throwing something up there to throw it up there, if you're planned out, you're, first of all, less stressed, and it comes more from the heart, and people can just tell. So making a plan with your posting is important, however you want to do that. You can follow one that's already been created or fill in a blank one and plan out your weeks. I've heard Sunday nights, you can plan out your week for posting and then do it again every Sunday. So if you don't have a planner, I'm not saying that works for everyone, but I have a planner and I plan out my months as well. So for my free groups, I plan those out. I usually run a free group on the first or the second, however the weeks line up, first and third or second and fourth, depending on the month. But I split those up. They're 5-day free groups that I run. And that preps me for my pay challenge that I run at the end of the month. So the last Monday of the month is usually when I start those. So I'm taking those people in my free groups and forming like crazy with them, knowing that they have some interest in fitness because they've joined this group. Those are the people that I really form with a lot, besides my new reach outs, to invite to my paid groups. So that's why I have my free groups at the beginning of the month. And with that, my posting follows that schedule. So if I have my free group that second week, I know that the week before I'll be posting about that free group and posting in the event. And then I I've started this, I'm on my 3rd month, but every second Tuesday I run a coach opportunity call. This month I'm actually doing a live event with it versus getting on a live call on Zoom or whatever. And so that happens on the 2nd Tuesday of the month. So after my free group after my free group begins, then I switch gears and I start talking more about the coaching, even though I weave coaching into a lot of my posts throughout the week, but I start talking about this event more. So 2 or 3 times a week, I'll have a call to action to that event. So basically the week before is my posting talks about what's going to happen the following week. And I plan that out in my planner. There's a calendar at the beginning of each month that I write all that down. Part of making a plan is setting goals, and you set a lot of goals here. You set goals per month. I do challenge you to set goals per week, so that you're not looking at the month at saying, oh, I want to hit SC10 by the end of the month. Then you're taking your time the first 2 weeks, and then you get to week 3 and you're only at SC2 and you're struggling. So you're pushing there. But if you were to break that down, it's like reverse engineering your goals for the year, but break them down each month so that you know exactly or at the end of the week, how many people are you going to help? And then the next week, set a new goal for yourself. So I just challenge you to set goals week by week versus by the month. I must govern the clock, not be governed by it. And I wrote down some notes on that. Set business hours. Don't let this business take over your whole life. It can, I guess, if you want it to, but if you have a family, especially, or a spouse, then I think it's important to set business hours and stick to them, especially as you start building your teams so that they know that you're not necessarily available 24/7, but that they know when they can reach you. And if they can't, what other avenues that they have. And then again, plan your month. And another thing is doing a power hour. So when you plan out your day for your business, I hope that you have a power hour in there, whichever one works for you, but that you have specific activities that you're doing that are business building activities. So number 3, get specific. And with that, it goes back to the goals. So some of you may have created a vision board, and on that vision board, you want to be specific. And that comes down to SMART goals, like we've learned. But basically, you have a date set for these goals and specific activities that are going to help you reach that goal. This is my whiteboard here in the middle. And this is like a life whiteboard, basically, because I have bills on there because I forget to pay bills. And so that's on there. But basically, I have my Success Club goals lined out in my account and my husband's account. And then my team calls are up there. My groups are up there when I'm going to start my challenges or whatever. But so I have it written multiple places, but however you want to do it. So also here on the right, I have positive affirmations that I read each morning. And just below that, you can't read these, but those are also specific goals, but these are like long-term goals, 2-year and 3-year plans, as I call them. With Bernie and I, we've set some 3-year plans or whatever with the business and with life, but it all comes back to the business and such. And if you're setting diamond dates and rank advancement dates, make sure you have specific dates for those so that you can reverse engineer them again and know exactly what you need to be doing each day to work towards them. Start by doing what's necessary, then what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. So some people might come into the business and think, like Ashley mentioned earlier today, that, oh, I could never be a star diamond, or I could never get to diamond, or I'll wait, or my goal is to get to diamond in a year. When in reality, if you're just doing these basic things, the 3 vitals, but just being consistent in posting and sharing, that builds up momentum, and you're doing things that are possible, and eventually you're rank advancing where before you were thinking, I could never do that. Okay, the next suggestion is to make it happen. So you have a plan, you're specific, now you got to do it. So at the bottom here, Amelia Earhart says, the most effective way to do it is to do it. So I know that I get excited when I set a plan and I have this rank advancement goal, and then I'm reverse engineering it and knowing I have to do this and this and this. And then I get to day one or whatever, and I sit down, and then sometimes I freeze. And that's the fear coming in. And so, of course, overcoming that with personal development, but you just got to do it. So if you have something that you're just hesitant to do, you're scared about doing it, scared about a post you're going to put out there, or you're scared to talk to someone, just do it. And basically do it, close the computer, walk away, and then come back in a few minutes or in an hour or whatever. But you just got to do it. And so here I'm just showing the 3 vitals basically. So make sure you're doing the basics as well, that you're doing your workouts, that you're following a program from start to finish, you're sharing your journey, and then you are inviting and reaching out to people and talking to people, because we know that if you want more Success Club points, you have to help more people. If you want to help more people, you need to talk to more people. It all comes down to building relationships, and the more people to talk to. And as you're building your team, you want to recruit more, well, find more people. It really just comes down to that, because you're the one who has to build the relationship. And then personal development, whatever that is in your life. Okay, so at the beginning, I asked you, what does success look like? I want you to ask yourself again what it looks like, because it looks different for everybody. And I'm just going to share a little bit about my success in this business for my life. So I find that I'm being successful as a coach when my children are now, partly because they have to, because I'm the mom and I decide what they eat and stuff, but they are making good, healthy choices, and they're talking about healthy choices. I'm no kidding. Every day, Jaden asks me, how much protein is in this? And I just make up a number. But the fact that he is asking me for any food that we have, how much protein is in this? It's just a conversation. It's a conversation that we have now. We talk about healthy food groups and stuff. And so it's a success for me to see that it's rubbing off on them, or whatever you want to call it, but that they are mindful of healthy food choices. And then physically, I just love how I look and feel. And whether that's boastful or whatever, I know that being consistent with my workouts and eating right, and, including Shakeology and even personal development, my mental awareness, it is a success. It has been successful for me. I've been successful physically. And then I feel like I'm successful because I'm building a team. And I used to just have one coach back and forth on my team that I would Zoom with, and I had a team page with just one coach, and slowly it's built up. But again, it's also, I've lost coaches, and it's like that success image that I'm on an upward movement, but in between, I lose coaches, I gain more, I lose some. It's just up and down right now. And so, of course, my whole goal is to just continue building a solid team where I'm not losing, I guess I won't notice the losses as much, but at the same time, I just need to love those coaches that leave and love the ones that come into my team. And I just feel like I'm successful because I have a team, even if it's small. And then financially, even getting groceries to me is a success. If I can take a paycheck and go get groceries and not have to tap into Vern's paycheck or savings or whatever. So change your thoughts and change your world, because you are the one who decides your success. And put on your blinders, because your story is different from the next person's story. And that's one thing that I do struggle with. I see other coaches on the tribe even, or just rank advancing or whatever. And my competitive nature, that pushes me, but it also is hard for me sometimes. I'll admit it. It is hard for me to see others rank advance ahead of me. That's just in my nature. But at the same time, it's motivation for me to keep going, and knowing that, hey, they're having that kind of success. I can have the same kind of success with being consistent with everything. And don't give up. This is my last tip here to have success. Don't give up, because if you give up and you quit, and of course you're not going to have success because you're gone and you're done with coaching. But sticking with it and getting through the hard times, I'll admit also at the beginning, first few months, Ashley doesn't know this, and that's okay. I don't need to tell her everything, right? But basically I was like, should I keep going? Really? I just getting discouraged basically. And so I upped my PD and my mindset changed. And so I'll tell you, I have been Diamond for going on, next month it'll be a year. And so we hear about people who rank advanced at Diamond and start Diamond sooner, and that's okay. This is my race to run, and I'm going at the pace that I can go with my family situation and having 4 kids and whatnot. And I know many of you can relate to that, but I'm here for the long haul. We'll just say that, because I love what I do, and I love how it's changed me and our family. And so I've been blessed by having coaching, and that's a success to me. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. So don't get discouraged. And if you do get discouraged, that's natural as well. This is not going to be a business. I don't think any business is where you are completely content with everything that happens in it. So don't feel bad if you do get discouraged, but I highly recommend just upping your PD and looking at your little successes and making sure that you recognize those as a success. And I believe that is all. Any questions from the audience?
So when you run your free groups, do you ask your folks, like if you have people that keep continuing to jump in a free group, do you ask them after each free group if they're interested in a paid challenge group, or do you just kind of let them come into it on their own?
Nope. I ask them every month, basically.
Every month.
Yeah. So the way that I invite from those free groups is initially at the end of my free group, I have an image, and I use the same one. I just replace the wording on it, and I go to Canva, but it's what's next. And I have my upcoming challenges. And so I have free challenges, but I also have paid challenges, but I don't say paid. I say 30-day challenge, limited spots available. And then so I post that, and they can comment or message me if they're interested in any of those. And if they do happen to say one of my 30-day challenges, then I ask them what their goals are. I go into goals, and I talk about if they're doing any kind of fitness right now, or if they're trying something and it's not working, if it is working or whatever. But I get into that whole invite to that and talk about Shakeology and how this group, I want you to try Shakeology in a fitness program, and I go from there. So if they say no, then I offer the free group. If they're in that free group the following month, I follow up with them and say, hey, you've been in my free groups, you're rocking these. How do you feel about joining a 30-day challenge? And go from there. But I do pretty much invite every month, because some of them will just consistently keep in my free groups, and that's fine with me, because I also get referrals from them, and they're just, that's good connection to have, even if they don't want to buy anything.
I have a question. So when you invite them the next month, sometimes I feel like I'm pestering them. Like, well, I just barely talked to you. Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Are you ready now? How do you get around that?
If you feel that you feel like you're pestering, then skip a month, I would suggest, and just wait a month and I follow up with them the following month. But for some people that I do inquire each month, they have told me specifically, try me next month, or I don't know, money's tight right now, this and this and this came up, it's not going to work. I say in that message, hey, how about if I check in with you next month? So those mainly come from people that I've said that to, or they have told me, follow up with me the next month.
Got it.
I have found that more often than not, people are grateful that you check in with them. And like people that get annoyed are people that maybe you haven't formed enough with, or they're cold contact clients So just make sure that you're continually forming and liking and commenting on people's stuff and messaging them, adding value on your page, because then when you go back and say, hey, I just want to let you know that my April group's coming up, I'd love to have you if you're ready, then they don't feel like you're pushing them. I mean, so, and that's what I'll do, is a message as simple as that. Hey, how are you? I hope you're doing good. I just wanted to let you know my April group's coming up. I'd love to have you if you're ready.
So do you approach them monthly, or do you kind of like wait until the program that they want is on sale?
I'm so disorganized. This is not a good question for me. I go through my inbox. I follow up with people. I look at my 5 million lists and I start talking to people. And don't follow that, because people fall through the cracks all the time. But Ashley has a good system, the notebook system, where she like goes back and like does talk to people, like writes the month or the sale pack. And I think it is good to follow up with people monthly though, especially if, I mean, depending on the person. Like obviously if someone's like, I don't want to do it till I'm after I'm pregnant, you're not going to follow up with them the next month, you know? So like, just like gauge their life situation. I always go to their Facebook page before I message them and see what they've been up to. If they like, cause you don't want to like message someone and like their like dog died that day. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta be careful. Like if their dog died, don't say, hey, want to join my challenge? You message them and say, hey, I'm so sorry about your dog, you know, and leave it till next month. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Agreed. But and I've just been using it a few months, and I wish I had been using this the whole time, but I use Asana and it's working for me. I tried the notebook thing. It wasn't working for me. Find what works for you. But essentially the same thing, where I make a note in their little file. I can set a due date when to follow up with them. And I usually put people 2 weeks out, and that 2 weeks out is engagement on their wall. And then a week later, I'll start to either form with them, because I've already been forming with them, and then lead to an invite. It just depends on who it is. But because I don't have the news feed up, so I have to consciously make an effort to go into people's walls and engage with them. Otherwise, nobody would see me liking or commenting. Any other questions? It doesn't have to be related to success.
I have something. So you have 4 kids. That's kind of something that I'm struggling with right now. Just like juggling, little kids, and my husband's work always gone. So it's me, just trying to find like the time to focus, like I feel like I have so many things I want to do, but I can't. And I'm not the person that can like, hey kids, be crazy in the background while I work on this. It has to be like silent. I'm kind of like weird like that. But anyways, I just wanted, if you had any tips, like I try to get up early too, but it just seems like by the time I get my workout done, then they're awake. And anyways.
It is a battle. I'll tell you what I do, and I'll see if I can throw a tip in there. But I do get up early. I have to, because of that very reason. I need to focus, and I feel like I'm neglecting them if I keep pushing them aside. I want to do this kind of thing. So I'm up at 5. I work out first, and then I do my power hour, and that is really crucial for me. That usually is from 6 to 7 solid. And if I can throw out 10 or 15 messages, whether they're follow-ups, reach outs, or whatever they are, I have to follow a list, and I use a timer because I keep focused that way. Then if I get that power hour in, I can shut off the computer at 7, get the kids ready for school, and then the younger 2 are home with me. And I do take 1 hour while they're home and let them play. And I follow up with anyone who's messaged me or check into my challenge or whatever, and post whatever. But I work another hour and then have to close shop again because kindergartner comes home and we have lunch. And then I put the baby to bed for a nap. This is seriously the story of my life, guys. And I put the baby to bed for a nap. And then at 1 o'clock, I take a nap at 12:30 to 1 because I'm usually so tired. And then from 1 to 3 is solid for me because it's quiet time And sometimes baby's in bed, 2 kids, it's quiet time, play games. Sometimes they're on my phone, whatever it is. But I have decided that it's okay for them to watch TV during that time, because any other time during the day, I wouldn't be able to work as much. And for me and where I want to go with the business and what I need to do for our family, I'm going to sacrifice those 2 hours, 1 to 3, before number 4 gets home from school, where I then have to shut down because it's hungry kids, snack time, whatever. And then I clean the house because I neglect it the whole morning. Then I clean real quick before dinner so that when Bernie gets home, he comes home to a clean house, and then have dinner, put the kids to bed, and then I'm back on the computer. And so that's repeat on repeat. I just suggest setting those business hours. And if you can sacrifice an hour where the kids are watching TV, whatever works for you, and whatever circumstance, situation you're in. But early mornings, late nights are ideal for me, just with having the kids. I'd love to hear what others are doing.
Thanks.
Yes.
I just add that, like, everyone, like, has their own, like, I don't want to say problems, but, like, we have coaches that are working like 40 to 50 hours. They don't have kids, but they're literally working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You know, there's a bunch of their stay-at-home moms that, I mean, I only have 2 kids, not 4. But I built my solid business while I was pregnant and had a brand new baby too. So, like, one of the things that impressed me about Brittany is she makes those sacrifices. This girl, like, talk about sleeping faster. She deserves a nap. Like, I don't even know how she does her schedule. But I, like, for me personally, I was working 12 hours a day with teaching by the time I commuted and taught, stayed, you know, lesson plan. Half the time I was lesson planning still at home. And it wasn't until I visited corporate and they had mentioned this, like, it clicked. Like, I could spend an 8-hour job and work 8 to 12 hours a day, or I could sacrifice a couple hours during my day where my kids still get to see me. They still get to know that I'm there and I'm present in their lives. And that really clicked with me. And maybe because it was the fact that I didn't have a choice. I had to work at the time I had my kids. But, you know, I think, like, one of the things I really, like, admire about Brittany, like I said, is she has made those sacrifices. And sleep is one of them. And I'm for power hour in a little bit, but I think she's a prime example of that. You know, you make it work, and, you know, because we all have our issues, like, you know, having 4 kids. You know, some of us have issues going on in our personal lives, and it really is, like, you know, like you said, just find those different cracks. And it's hard. I mean, it's not easy for anyone, and I think it's really admirable for anyone, you know. But that's the way I had to look at it too, because I felt guilty sometimes, like, I'm taking 2 hours away from my kids, but really, like, when I say I'm taking 2 hours from my kids, I was unproductive with my kids anyways, those 2 hours that I wasn't working Beachbody. Like, let's be real, I was sitting on the couch, not being productive, watching TV side by side, or, you know, stuff like that. But I just also wanted to say, like, Brittany, you are, like, seriously, like, a rock star and phenomenal girl. And I wanted to, like, let you know that we've all, like, no matter top coach, I'm sure they have, but you guys have heard me say, I had messages ready to go to Breezy that I was done. Like, there are rough patches in this coaching journey. And so when she says that, like, it's okay to feel those emotions. Like, there were so many times I was thinking the exact same thing, you know, that Brittany said, like, is this really for me? And every time it was my personal development that I was lacking. And, you know, this is what makes us happy as a couple, as an individual. But just know that that's completely, like, a normal feeling. And most of the time it is that. And one last thing is when she talked about, like, it's hard to watch people rank advance. And we understand that, like, you know, there's coaches who, you know, are the exact same level, the 2-year, 2.5-year mark that I'm at, who are 5-star, 8 stars. I mean, one who joined the same time she went 2-star her second business center today. She's been coaching the same time I am, and she's, like, way out, you know, ranked me. And, you know, but it's just honest. Even, like, the top coaches are comparing themselves to those around them, and it's super hard to put on the blinders, but just realize that like it is our own race, and it's okay to feel that way, but it's not at the same time. Like, you know, we are all doing our very best that we know how, you know, in our certain circumstances. But if anyone has any questions, but I just want Brittany to know that you are admired by many, many people on this tribe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to end, if there's no more questions, I just wanted to end with also success leaves clues. And however you look at other coaches as having success, you can go to their page, look at what they're doing, and be inspired by them. But I really, the past few weeks, have come back to trying to find my voice and speaking with my voice in my posting. And I know it's going to change things, because I have fallen into the trap of following other coaches and trying to mimic what they do, and still tweaking it to make it mine, but it wasn't me. And so that's one thing that I am trying to improve and feel like I'm doing a little bit better at. But basically just be inspired by them and get ideas from them, but make sure that you're making it your own, because people want to see you, the real you, and follow you. Okay. You're all successful because you're here on this call. So that's all I want to share. Thanks for being on the call tonight, and peace out.
Thank you, Brittany.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Hey,
thanks.
and there's still 45 minutes left to hit Success Club.